Good evening, St. Lucia, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Newsmaker Live. Trending in the news: bed bugs. They do bite. So this past week we've heard of the police force, nonetheless, CID, being infested with bed bugs. Where do these bugs originate, really? And on top of us hearing from the president of the Welfare of the Association for the Police about the low morale in the workplace and the police force, you have key and critical component of the police force having to suffer an infestation of bed bugs. And these things are so tiny. These things, a female bed bug would lay as many as millions of eggs in her lifetime. And so you come from the workplace where you're already stressed, insurmountable stressors at work, and then you go home with these things in your clothes, and they're tiny like a speck of dust. You take them home with you. You're almost guaranteed to have an infestation at home. And you go to someone's house, a friend's house, and you have these things in your clothes, and they're almost guaranteed to have an infestation. So it begs the question, why can't we find the resources to read the headquarters, the police headquarters of those mites, those bed bugs, to enable the police force to be able to focus on what they're there for, protecting and serving the people of St. Lucia. Last week, or rather earlier this week, we heard of a possible 12th homicide in St. Lucia. Yana August lost her life in the most despicable way, or unfortunate, some would say, if you're using a euphemism. But to me, it brings to mind a homicide, or a couple of homicides that occurred a few years ago, where we found a male and a female, a couple, burnt in their car. Well, some say they were nude. I don't know how we could determine that they were nude if they were burnt. But they were burnt in their car. And I don't think we've ever heard anything with regard to that case coming to a culmination. That was the case that came to mind when I heard of Yana's case. And it's so unfortunate that the very same thing that has enabled us to be able to stay in touch with thousands of people, friends and family, thousands and thousands of miles away, is the very same technology that is bringing even more pain to the family of Yana August. Now, I mentioned about the couple that was found burnt and the number of other cases that have gone unresolved in this country, and which brings me now to the forensic lab. Is it still a fit, useless, just a white elephant or a pink elephant, a yellow elephant, whatever? It is an elephant in the room, which we are not discussing, which we are not focusing on. We have this forensics lab, which we are told is fully equipped, and we have abled persons, professionals, which can man the forensic lab. But we have this ongoing audit, and we have yet to hear anything about the audit, whether it's still ongoing, whether it has been culminated. What exactly is going on with the forensics lab? And will we ever be able to solve any cases using that forensic lab? Dr. Evil is St. Lucian, or did you not know? In the aftermath of our 11th homicide, the police, with the limited resources available to them, have arrested Mervyn Efraj, who goes by the name of Dr. Evil. Young men committing atrocious acts, police not having the necessary equipment or resources to go about doing their jobs, bringing to justice those persons that have committed crime. What exactly is this country coming to? And we are yet to hear a word, not a word, not a word, not a word from the Minister of Justice. We need to know what's going on in our country. We need to know what's happening with the crime situation, even if it's just 5 minutes on some medium to allay our fears, so that we can rest assured that knowing that everything possible is being done to protect the citizens of this country. Which brings me to the next point. The horse whisperer. A few weeks ago, I talked about bestiality, and I brought to you 2 cases that had happened a week apart. It seems that bestiality is very much still going on, and this time with horses. So we have the case of the horse whisperer, and permit me to read to you this latest case. Michael Crawford, 68, landed in Phoenix believing he would meet a horse owner he'd been corresponding with online, according to a statement released by the county sheriff's office. Crawford hoped the fictitious owner would allow Crawford to engage in perverted sex acts with an animal. Sheriff Joe Arapaho said at a press conference on Sunday. Crawford posted an ad on a popular website soliciting a willing horse owner, according to the sheriff's office. Investigators in the Animal Crimes Investigations Unit, imagine that, they have an Animals Crimes Investigations Unit, and we cannot have a properly functioning forensics lab. Oh, my bad. We do have a proper forensics lab. It is manned, or has ability to be manned by professionals, and it is fully equipped. It's just closed for whatever reason. But anyway, back to the horse whisperer. Investigators in the Animal Crimes Investigations Unit opened the case in October and corresponded with Crawford via email and phone call conversations. Many exchanges graphically detailed what Crawford intended to do once he arrived in Arizona. In an email released by the sheriff's office, Crawford said he was looking forward to the visit and described his desires. Crawford arrived late Friday at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, where he was met by deputies. They took Crawford to a trailer furnished by a posse volunteer and located near Southern Avenue and Avondale Boulevard in Tolleson, where Crawford was shown 2 ponies. Following the presentation, Crawford was arrested and booked into the county jail on suspicion of a bestiality charge. The police chief said Crawford told deputies he didn't understand why he was taken into custody, because he had not committed any sex acts with the horses, but Crawford told deputies that he had engaged in acts of bestiality since 1970. Remember, this is a 68-year-old man. This is animal cruelty. There is not enough teeth in the law for animal cruelty. He would have gotten away with it if he'd picked the wrong county and the wrong sheriff. The police chief said this was the 8th time in his county that sheriff's deputies had made a bestiality arrest in 5 years. The 8th time in 5 years. When does the pursuit of happiness becomes too much? When we come back on the other side of the break, our feature presentation.